What is up? Welcome back to another video on the Romping Bronco Best Show channel. This whole video actually stemmed from this. It's an M39 52mm 2.8 maybe lens. It is very old, very gross, and I got it for very cheap from Kazakhstan. Then I thought to myself, man, what if I got a different M39 camera and tried this lens out on that? So I was looking, scouring the internet, and I found the Bessa L, which is like the most affordable M39 mount camera. Now there is a problem. There's no viewfinder at all. It's technically a rangefinder-esque system, but without a rangefinder, so what really is it? It's a box that you put film into. It has a shutter. It's the same kind of Cosina brand shutter as we've seen before in cameras such as the Canon T60, the Olympus OM2000, the Nikon FM10, the Pentax P30, and others. Cosina CT1, I believe, was the first camera. Doesn't matter. This was the first of that, or the Bessa line. It was initially designed for use with wider angle lenses. However, as I mentioned, this is a 52mm lens. The idea behind this video, as I mentioned, stemmed from this, which led to this, which led to me thinking, how fun would it be to do a whole video where I'm just shooting pictures straight from the hip. You know, like a quick draw, like a cowboy on the quick draw, you know. Boom. So I got together with my buddy, Taylor. He just made a YouTube channel, actually. You can check him out here. I definitely recommend you do so. Great guy. Takes much better photos than I do. Met up with him with his Leica M6 and a 28mm lens, much more suited for this hip firing photography challenge. We got together, we went out to the coast, got some Ultramax 400, and these are the results.
The cloud, please and thank you. And make sure you get the red badge too. Don't want to forget that. Ooh, and the M6, yeah. That fucking Ultron lens, I think.
I do really like it though.
It's
there's no viewfinder.
yeah.
So you have to put one on the top if you want to, but it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's this lens?
That would be the shitty Russian lens. Yeah, it's a 52mm. So typically, when you're doing like hip photography, you want like wider.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, what about 52mm?
Nice, like, I usually will just like kind of walk back and forth between the two beaches.
Right.
I don't really go past the rock.
Yeah.
I'll go like up to Haystack, and then I usually end up going down a little bit past this beach. I forget if this is beach 5 or 6, but I usually just go up and down, and I'm just like passing people.
Mm-hmm. I think I left the mics at home. I always am gonna forget something on the trip.
This works.
It'll be fun. Okay, so Mr. Miyagi me here. Wax on, wax off. What are we looking to do with hip fire photography? What's the trick? Besides having a wide angle lens.
Well, you came to a pretty bad Mr. Miyagi because
You took one good photo.
Alex's whole idea from this video came from one half decent picture that I took that did happen to be from the hip, I will say.
And my poor financial behind the camera.
However, so I'll just be very, very transparent. I'm in the very early days of learning to shoot from the hip. So as I understand the method, there are a couple different ways you can do it, whether that be like zone focusing or you're just like, on a day like today, you know, you could have like semi high speed film like 400 or 800, and you could be at f11, f16, 250ths of a second. Pretty much everything's going to be in focus, especially me. I'm shooting a 28mm lens, so anything more than 10 feet away is pretty much going to be in focus. there is playing that game of like how far is 10 feet.
Who knows? There's no way to measure.
It mostly gets tricky when like you're trying to decipher between 5 and 7 feet. Is like or between 3 and 5 feet, because
do you ever do it where you just like imagine what would happen if I face planted right
yeah,
now?
actually,
that's my
actually yes.
like,
and I was
that's
practicing
about 6 feet.
before you picked me up today. I was actually practicing. I was practicing in my viewfinder how far certain things were, and I was like, that feels like 5 feet, between 5 and 7 feet. And I was like, I'm 5'10", so like I literally laid down face first in my living room, and I was like, yeah, that's somewhere between 5 and 7 feet.
That works.
Another route, which is I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be picking a specific distance that I'll be working with, most likely somewhere between 7 and 10 feet.
Okay.
And I will just be trying to get things in that range, and just so that I can train myself to know what that distance is.
Gotcha.
And then I'm kind of going to be working my way down, just because I'm also like not trying to jump straight into it, getting right in people's face, because since it is a 28 millimeter, I do have to be pretty close. If I'm going to be shooting like within 3 feet of someone to get things in focus, I got to be in their business.
For sure.
I'm not quite there with the comfortability yet. Having just a little bit of distance, just so I feel comfortable with it, is nice, because like I said, still early days.
Yeah.
So we're going to be shooting, hopefully, for the most part, as long as everything's in focus, between 7 and 10 feet, so that I'm not moving my lens too much. Probably be shooting somewhere between f11 and f16 most of the day, because it is very, very bright. It is starting to angle, so we're getting some shadow, so it's not going to be completely blown out.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
Let's just say hypothetically, if somebody had a 52 millimeter lens.
Yeah, maybe on a rangefinder type body style that may or may not have a viewfinder
you
on
might
it.
be a little bit sequestered into only hip firing. What is your recommendation for that now, Mr. Miyagi?
Man, also just like I've honestly never even heard of a 52 millimeter lens.
Right?
I'm gonna be totally honest
It's
with
the
you.
Russians, dude. They were
I've heard
making
of
shit
50.
up.
I've heard of 56. I think. Okay, 52. You're gonna be definitely going in the 10-foot distance range, 100%. Minimum. That's probably your minimum
option here. You know what? It's in meters, so we got 1 meter, which is 3 feet.
You don't even have like a external viewfinder, so you're really
It's just raw dogging life over here, dude.
I'm doing nothing brave today.
Yeah.
Let's get that. Let's get that
on the record.
Let's get that on the record. Alex is truly in the Wild West right now.
And also, I've laid a nice groundwork. It's a subliminal groundwork, but the groundwork is like most of my photos are kind of out of focus. Like it's been years. I've been doing this for
You're
years.
establishing a niche.
Exactly.
I really
Curating
appreciate it.
This market. I'm cornering the market of slightly out of focus photography. So I think this will play in nicely to that.
Well,
but yeah.
Play to your strengths. That's what they say, right?
It's also pretty. Yeah.
KM2. So I think it's $80. So,
And it has your ringing endorsement.
I mean, it's a lot cheaper than $600, which is what I was quoted for getting my M6 light meter repaired. hopefully I can sync it up with when you post this one.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
I think the takeaways I have is this lens is very old. I don't think that the optics are properly coded for color emulsions, which I think is where you kind of saw a lot of the disparity between our results. His were much more clear, much more vivid, much more refined. Mine were a little bit more orange, much more muddled. Overall, the experience of shooting this was kind of interesting. I think if I had a different lens with it, I'd be more inclined to shoot with it. It's a nice lightweight camera. It's interesting enough, but for the time being, in the pantheon of cameras that I own, this is probably not near the top of my favorites. Probably won't be shooting it again for the foreseeable future. If I stumble upon one of those 12mm, 15mm, even a 17mm lens, I might give it another rip because it could be interesting, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon. So I'm gonna box it up, put it back with the rest of the collection. It was a really good time, interesting experience, interesting kind of challenge. I'd like to do more hip photography in the future, just kind of blind fire, see what happens. I think maybe black and white film might have lended itself to the experience a little bit more, but that's just kind of where my head is at. Before we wrap up today's video, I want to give a quick shout out again to Taylor for helping me out on this project, for lending his skills, his expertise, his really nice camera, and his fantastic photographic ability. Remember to check him out as well on YouTube. He just got a new channel going. He's got a video out. So check him out, show him some love. He's gonna be putting some more stuff out there. So go give him some support. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. And I'll see you on the next one.